Alright, we have already climbed up to the 5th floor, which is Agrabah. It is one of my favorite Disney movies from the 90s, Aladdin. So let's pick that card and enter into the world. Now, Agrabah will be one of the first worlds to offer a friend card, which means rather than just Donald and Goofy, you'll have someone else bouncing around. Aladdin's pretty basic. He'll just run out in the field and swing his sword. In this RE remake, though, he does have a handy ability that any enemy he strikes will drop Moogle points for you to collect. So if you're looking to update your deck using Moogle points, it's not a bad place to stop and grind just a little bit. As far as enemies and obstacles go, not too much to worry about this stage. You do have to worry about these barrel spiders, which will appear as regular barrels on the stage until you hit them, and then they surprise you into a battle. They're not too hard. They only use 4 cards, so anything in above will break them. So just use your sleights that you'll have, and you should be able to win. Alright, let's talk about our Calm Bounty card here. It is Gravity. This card isn't really great on its own. It's basically Dimmy from the Final Fantasy series. On some enemies, it will take a small chunk of their life each time you use it. But it has some other sleights that it can be combined with that are really cool, like Firaga Burst and Magnetic Spiral. I should also warn you, just grinding, I picked up a move called Zanetsuken. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, you will remember this as the Odin special move that pretty much kills all enemies on the screen. It is nowhere near as useful in this one. Here it just manages to destroy 1 card permanently that an enemy uses if they are using a deck for boss fights, and you have to use 3 9s and 3 0s in order to do it. A wasted move that I don't recommend. I should note that when you enter the stage and in the second stage room, there are Heartless battles that are part of the story. These last longer than usual, but they're not too hard. If you have enough cards in your deck and enough sleights to do a reload and still have a strong deck, you'll be able to get through these without breaking a sweat. After completing the second room fight, you will get something called an Ether card, which you saw me pick up just there. Ether is basically just potion for magic cards. It refills all of your magic cards that you would get in a regular reload. I don't put it in my deck because I usually don't have as many magic cards to really justify spending DP on it. That said, you will be getting an elixir as well, which will work on both attack and magic cards, and a few stages when you can do Winnie the Pooh. So personally, I don't really think it's worth your effort to put in the Ether card, but that's just my opinion. If you think it will work for you, go ahead, put it in your deck. When you enter the final story room for your fight with Jafar, you'll notice that he's now an immortal genie, so you obviously aren't going to be aiming for him if you want to defeat him. Aim for Iago and the lamp. So basically just watch what cards he's using, break them if you think you're about to get hit. Otherwise, just smack Iago around with any Keyblade cards you have. You can't really use sleights in this one, so it's pretty simplistic. Just watch the platforms, watch what Jafar's doing, and break with a 0 or 9 card when needed. He's pretty simple. Your hidden Mickey card for this fight will allow you to raise all the platforms up to the highest level, just allowing you to have a free run at Iago and the lamp. Now, Jafar's not a card I normally put in my deck, but I will admit he's not a bad card to have around. Basically, with Jafar around, all your attack or your Keyblade cards and sleights based off your Keyblade cards can't be broken by the enemies when you use them. Now, this does not mean that you can break the enemy's cards if you do an attack that's lower value than one of the enemy's cards on display. It just means that they can't break your cards. Also, it does not affect your magic cards, so it won't give you protection there. Like I said, it's not a card I find myself using too often, but he can come in handy, especially if you like to use a move called Ars Arcanum, which you'll pick up later, and it's a very handy move, but it's also very low on the card numbers and can be easily broken. He can help you with that if you want to put him in your deck. Now, if you go back to Agrabah and go into your room to rewards, you will get a move called Warp. Now, Warp is not really a great move in my opinion. It basically just throws a Heartless out of battle, and I don't think you get any EXP for it. Because of that, I never use it. I should tell you that you will also be getting the Genie card for beating this stage. Now, Genie is a summon card, and he acts just like he did in the last games. He'll pop up and attack with Showtime, which just blasts all these magic spells at enemies and status effects. He's not exactly a great card because you don't know what he'll do when you call Showtime, nor is he very powerful. I prefer Simba or Cloud or Mushu over him, but he is way better than Tinkerbell and Dumbo. I also can't think of any slides that you need him exclusively for either. That's all the advice I have to give on to Agrabah. Next, our final stage is Halloween Town. It's a great stage, it's fun, it's got an easy boss, and it's got a useful boss card too. So, next time, Halloween Town.